Hello students. So in the previous class we learned how we can record a macro. So as I said earlier that I would provide this YouTube video for you. So I am providing this video to you so that you can understand how programming is done in Visual Basic for Application or VBA. Okay. So over here, as in Excel, most of the time we use functions. So suppose I will give you an example before I start showing you how we can write a program in Excel. We can create our own functions. How we can do that? Before we do that, just we'll take an example like 10, 20, 30. So there are numbers. So we use equal to sum. Within first brackets I select these given values, close the bracket and press enter. So what is sum? Sum is a function. Now where is this function? This function is already there as an inbuilt function in Microsoft Excel. Now what if I need a particular function which is not available in Excel? Even though Excel has numerous functions, but still those who are power users, they like to have their own functions that can have multiple tasks done at the same time. So what if we want to do something like that? So therefore what we can do is, so we'll create a function total that is similar to sum, but we'll do it in our own way. We'll create it in our own way. So how to do it? So open the developer tab. In the last class I showed to you how you can open the developer tab from on the options menu. Then click on Visual Basic. You can either click on this or you can just press the shortcut key Alt F11. F11 stands for function key F11. So either you can press the shortcut key or you can click on this Visual Basic button over here. So over here, as you can see, the name of the project, some other things are also being shown over here. So we have VBA project book 1. So at this point, this is the name of our file, that is book 1. So what can we do? So we can at this point do something, that is we'll create a module project VBA project. On this one we will do a right click, go to insert and create module. So you will see module 1 is being displayed over here. Okay, so therefore let us write the simple 3-line code so that we can use the total function call or answer. So suppose, so to create a function we type function. As soon as we type function is a keyword. That means a reserved word that is already reserved by Visual Basic. So we will write function and then we have to write the name of the function. We will write total. This is the name of the function, and as soon as I press enter, as you can see the function I wrote in small letters, automatically it was changed to capital letters. So some things will be done automatically. So now let us write total equal to 10 plus 20, and as you can see automatically this is also taking things. So we have completed our task over here. We have completed our task over here, that we have finished creating this particular function. Now let us check whether this function is running in our program or not. So let's get back to the Excel file and let us in this cell. Now as soon as you type equal to and type TO, you will see the total function that we created. It is coming in front of us. If I just type the name of the function and press enter, it will, as you can see, the output is being showed to me. So as I already did total equal to 10 plus 20 inside it, then it is automatically calculating that 10 plus 20 and showing it over here. So this is the simplest method of creating a function. I will repeat this part once again. Okay, that is what to do. First of all, we will do a right click on this, then go to insert, click on module. So instantly a module will be created for us. This was the total module. Let us create one more module with a different name. Now usually for finding the average we can write AVERAGE, we have GE, we have to write this. So let's create a function with only AVGE. So let's create, first we have to create a function. Remember, to create a function you have to write the word function, then the name of the function, and then the function symbol. First open bracket, close bracket, and then press enter. Automatically it will do this. So now let us take an example, that is, let us type x equal to 10, y equal to 20, and then we can write AVG equal to 10 plus 20 divided by 2. So let us end our function as it is over here, 10 plus 20 slash 2. So therefore whenever I type AVG in Excel, it should give us or it must give us the average of this 10 plus 20. So let us check whether it is running or not. So we'll go to another cell from over here, equal to AVG. As you can see it is appearing. Let's press enter. Sorry, AVG equal to AVG and press enter. As you can see it is showing us the result that is to be calculated in that module. So this is how we can create a function that is going to take some, that is going to directly show us the results that we have created. Now passing arguments to a macro. So we are doing macro programming. Now what is passing argument? So as you can see in these modules we are directly giving some values, right? We are directly giving some values. But when we did this sum function, what we did, I can write this as equal to, type equal to sum first bracket. As you can see, number 1, number 2, there are some values it is asking. If I select 10, then press comma, number 2 is getting activated, then I press this 20 cell again press comma and click on 30. As you can see, as I am clicking on, it is continuously increasing. So these B2, C2, D2, these cell addresses are called parameters, or the values or the cell addresses that are given as an input to a function. Input to a function given within the parentheses or the first brackets, open bracket, close bracket, beside the name of the function, whatever input we are giving in that place, those are called parameters. So therefore we can send our own parameters, and by sending our own parameters we can easily check out what we want to do. So if I close this bracket and press enter, that means in the sum function I gave 3 parameters, and what were those parameters? Those were 3 cell addresses. Now what did the sum function do? Sum function went to those particular cell addresses and took those numbers from there, took those values from there, and what did it do? It summed the values. So this is what a function does. A function can be without arguments or without parameters. A function may have lots of parameters or lots of arguments, like the action that we are taking, or like the function sum. Functions like product, functions like average, they can take lots of arguments or lots of parameters at the same time. So let us now learn in VBA that how can we create a macro, and that is how can we create a function that will have parameters in it. Let us create one more module, insert module, and inside this module we'll create a macro function to pass an argument. Okay, so what would be that? I will complete the program, and after completing the program I will show it to you and also discuss it. Button 1 underscore click. You may have learned about these terms while you had studied Visual Basic in class 8. If you want to check out the things from there, you can definitely check out those things. Okay, next in this we will type message box, and within message box we will type the name of a function. Over here it's given as triple x. Let's call this function whatever that function is. We have to create the function before that. Function triple, and along with that we have to also give it so end function. In that function we will write x equal to 10, and in the message box will again display a message box, will display x into 3, whatever the value is. Okay, so we'll display it inside the message box. So this is how we do this. Now if you want, you can save it. Definitely you can save the Excel workbook, but remember that if you want to save the Excel workbook, you have to use Excel macro enabled workbook. Okay, so I'm at this point I'm not saving it right now. So let's check if our function is working properly or not. Okay, now before we do that, we definitely need to save it. Now let's save this book over here, and we will assign Excel macro workbook, and I will give the name as VBA underscore Excel. Okay, because it might create some problem in the letter, so let's just keep it saved. So now we will assign this function, this particular object, this particular button. We will assign this thing to a particular button in Excel. So we'll go to Excel. Over here we will go to developer, insert, and this is the button control. Click on it and you can draw a button in Excel. As soon as you draw the button, it will ask you, it will show you this button 1 underscore click that we created. Select that and click on the OK button. So as soon as you can see, this button has appeared over here, and this will give you the output in a proper message box. So if you can just name it the button as it is. Okay, you can name the button as it is. Now if you click on this button, you will see the message that is being displayed. Whatever we did, it is being displayed over here. If I just click on this button, it is showing me 30. Okay, now why is it showing me 30? Because in the message box we wrote message box x into 3, so value of x is 10, so 10 into 3 30. That's why this is showing me this 10 value over here. So this is how we call a function. We wrote a function triple x, we wrote it, and what did we do? We created a sub. We will discuss what is a sub. I will tell you the difference between a sub and a function. As you can see, it looks similar, only that there is a difference between this function name and the sub name. But what it is, I will in a moment I will discuss with you the simplest of differences between a sub and a function. Then it will be clear to you how we do it. So as you can see, as soon as I clicked on the button, it showed us the result. So therefore this is how we can create a function, and along with it we can create a button also. Even if sometimes we might require some option buttons, radio buttons, or check boxes, that also can be done, and those coding also can be done over here. You can check out your class 8's notebook or book that about, so that you can take in your memory the controls that you had learned in Visual Basic. So this is what creating a particular code is about. That is, we are creating a function and we are calling the function. How we are calling the function? On button click. So in a moment I will discuss with you the difference between a sub and a function. So let us directly learn the differences, how it is doing. So as you can see, this function that we created, triple x, I wrote x equal to 10, message box, x into 3. So therefore this is the function that we created. So this particular function, what it is doing, it is taking the value of x. After accepting the value of x, it is showing in the message box the value of x. We are just showing it. That means the value that is there inside this is being displayed on the screen. In technical or programming terms, we call it returning a value. That is, a function is able to return a value. Similarly, that we did during module 2 and module 1. We wrote something. In module 1, we wrote total equal to 10 plus 20. When we are writing the function in Excel equal to total, it is giving us the result 30. That means it is returning us a result. A function always returns a result, whereas a sub does not return any value. It does not return any value, but it performs a task. What is the task we are doing right now? We are doing this message box. We are calling this message box triple x over here. Even if I let us check, if I do not type this message box, what happens? If I do not just type message box, let us check what happens. So I'll go to Excel, back Excel, click on this button once again, and as you can see, it is showing me the result correctly. No problem. I'll click on again over here. It is showing me this result over here as 30. So this particular button is attached with that particular sub function button 1 underscore click. So what is it doing? It is as you can see, I will show it to you once again. Assign macro. As you can see, button 1 underscore click. Button 1 underscore click is the name of the sub that we created. So therefore, after creating the sub, it is doing the task. Whatever is said inside the task, it is doing that task, but it is not returning any value. We have to remember that a sub is able to perform a task, but it does not return any value to us, whereas a function can be called, or a function can return a variable, or it can return a value. It can return something to the user. So therefore, this is the simplest of differences that is that you should be familiar with sub and the function. Now let us learn how we can pass arguments. There are two methods. That is, pass arguments means give arguments to the functions. So arguments, as I said, arguments means the parameters. So how do we, or how can we give parameters or arguments to a function? There are two methods. There is passing arguments by reference or passing arguments by value. So what is the difference between these two? Actually, whenever we are saying by reference, we actually mean that we are sending the original value that is there in a variable. We are sending it in a function. By default in Visual Basic, this is how the arguments are passed. Even if we don't write that pass by reference, if we don't even write also, then also the values are passed by reference. If we want to transfer a copy, that is not the original value but the copy of the value, in that case we call it passing arguments by value. So this is what the difference is. So let us now write the programs, and I will show it to you how they are different. So in that case, I will create one more button. I'll create one more button, and in one button I will put by reference. In another button I will put by value. Okay, so let's find out and do this particular task. So I have created the two buttons and I have written the code for these two buttons over here to shorten the video. I just did this. So over here the code is same, only in the function triple, one is by ref, one is by val. By ref means, as I said, the original value of x is being given. So what is the original value of x? Original value of x is 10. So how should this program work? Let us check. Okay, so now how this program is running, I will show it to you. Now whenever I am clicking on the button 1, it is coming to this particular line, dim x as integer. Then the value of x is being assigned as 10. After that, whenever I am going to message box, it is calling the function triple x. That means it is jumping from over here to in this particular part. So what is the value of x? As I said, it is 10. So x equal to 10 into 3, it is 30. Triple equal to x returns the value 30. Where does it return? It returns the value to this particular part, x. So value of x is at this point the value of x is now replaced by 30. So when I type this message box, in this message box the answer will come as 30. Again the next message box, as the original value was replaced, the message box, the second message box will also display 30. Let us check if it is true or not. So I'll come over here, I'll click on button 1. As I click on button 1, I am getting the first message box 30. Again I am clicking OK, then I am getting the second message box as 30. So therefore we are getting two message boxes as 30, because whenever we are sending a value by reference, we are sending the original value and it is being modified in the function triple x. So therefore the modified value is also returning back to this button, returning back to the sub, and hence we get modified values in both the cases. So this is what by reference is. But in this next case, button 2, as we are sending a value as a copy, we are sending the particular data as a copy. So therefore if I click on button 2, the first answer will be 30. Why? Because over here in this particular function, in this module 4, as you can see, this triple x, this function is being called. This function multiplies 10 into 3, 30. It returns 30 over here. But as we are sending the value as a copy, that means the changes are done on the copy of that particular value, not on this original value x. So next time when this message box is being printed, that time what happens is it remains same. When this message box will be displayed, the answer will be 10. So let us check if it is working or not. So if I click on button 2, you are getting the first result 30, because 10 into 3, 30 is there. Then if I click on OK, the second message box is appearing. It is showing me 10, as it is the original value of x. So therefore if we are using call by value, that means the original value is not affected at all. Original value remains same. Whereas whenever we are using call by reference, in that case the original value changes. So this is the difference between call by value and call by reference. So I hope you have understood this. If you are having problem, you can definitely ask during the live class. Moving on, let us create one more function called summation, and at this point we will take the value from Excel cells. Okay, we will take the value directly from Excel cells. Whatever value is there, we will take those value from Excel cells. Let us create a function over here. So function summation will take two values, x as variant. The term variant means x can have any kind of value, y as variant. So we do not know what particular value x and y are going to be. So I can just select the cell address. I will select the cell address and it will do it. And as the sum function is doing, similarly we can build this. Let us do this. So summation equals to, we can write x plus y. That's it, nothing more to do. Let us check. We'll save this. Let us check if this is working over here or not. So I'll click over here, type equal to summation, and we'll select this value 20 comma 30, close the bracket, press enter, it will show us 50. Now as you can see that the summation function is working similar to the sum function that we created. So this is a particular function, that is we have created this function. This type of functions that we create by ourselves, these kind of functions are called user defined functions. Let us check if it is available under formulas or not. So if you go to formulas, let us go to more functions. At this point it is not showing any user defined functions over here. So if I click on insert function, as you can see over here, as I instantly clicked on this, it is showing me the values how we did this. So at this point there is no value, no help available. Why? Because we have created this function by ourselves. There is no place on the anywhere that Excel can provide us any help with this. Okay, so this can show us some things regarding that also. So this is how we create an user defined functions. Okay, so this is easily we can do from over here. Okay, now suppose if I click over here, I go to insert function. So over here insert function, if I go select the category, so many types of categories are there. You can see user defined. If I click on user defined, you will see this AVG that I created, this function PQRS, where did it go, summation solver, yes, summation. This is something that I created. So if I click on OK, it is asking the values of X and Y. So if I give 50, then I give 20, it will show me the result 70. So as you can see, this is also available from this function insert function option. Just you have to click on a blank cell, click on insert function, select the type from over here. What type of function do you want? We want an user defined function, that is the function that we created. Okay, so therefore select user defined from here and select your function from over here, and you can simply work with that function in Excel. So this is how we can create an user defined function in Excel. Next we will learn how we can read the data from the cells in a function. So we'll create a function that will help us to create a proper function where we will be reading the data from the cells. So how can we do that? So before we start reading, we have to understand what are the things, how are we going to read. So actually, what is a cell? Whenever I click on this any small box, I can see it is a combination of column and row, column name and row number. So therefore whenever we are clicking on one cell, if I type something in it, we need a function that will be able to read the data that is there in that particular cell. Now we will learn to write the program how we can read that data from the cell. So let us continue. So now we will go to, let's go to this particular function over here, and let us, okay, I can create one more module, no problem. Let's create a module. In this module, what we are going to do, we are going to create three subs we are going to create. In those three subs, it will be able to, and we will be able to call the data from somewhere. Let us write sub, the name of the function can be anything that we give it to it. So if I write call data as the name of the function, then we write, let me type message box, and in the message box, if I mention the row number, sorry, if I mention the column number and row number, so we can mention it properly so that it can understand from which column and which row it has to read. So the first value that I am typing, that is the row number 1, and I want to read it from column number 3. So sorry, not this one, message box. We have to write cells, and then we'll write comma, that is the row index, then 2, that is the column index. That means row 1 column 2. Actually I think this is the B1 cell, so it is going to read from B1 cell. Let's check it out if this is working or not properly. So we will let us create a button over here, one more button, insert button. I'll draw this button and instantly I'll this get called data from over here, and B1 cell, let us write in B1 cell 900, and if I click on this button, yes, we can see that we are able to read the data from over here. So this is how we can also read the data in a particular cell. So whatever the name of the function is, it does not matter the name of the function, we can just tell from which cell to read the data. Okay, so this is how we can do this. Next, moving on, continuation of this, that is, instead of cells, if I enter a range, so how can we enter a range? We can use the range function. Okay, in here only I will use this. So if I write message box and I type range, and within the range, as you can see, we have to give the cell address. So if I write A2 cell address, let me write in capital A2. If I write this cell address and close this bracket, so in that case whatever is there in cell A2, it is going to be displayed in the message box. Okay, so let us get back to our this one, and in cell A2 let us write hello, and let us click on button 3. So the first one was this one, next one again showed us hello. So this is how we can easily select the ranges. This is how we can read the ranges also. We can specify which range to read. We can definitely specify that, and in that case it will read those ranges and it will display those values in means whatever button you are using, or whatever, if you want to directly call the function, it will do accordingly. So this is how we can directly read data from a cell by giving the cell column address and row number and column number directly. If we give that, in that way also we can read. By giving the cell address, that also we can read. So now moving on, we have to learn how we can sort columns using a macro, because sorting is a very important thing. Sorting is a very important thing then that we need to do all the time in a particular task. So I will write some data and then I will prepare the program and then show it to you how we are doing it. So we have this small data over here. We will be sorting this data. So our data is starting from A1 and it is ending with C5. So that is the range that we have to mention. That is, we have to say to the function that it is going to, or we'll create a button over here. We'll click on it and our data will be sorted. We want to do this. So let us create one more sub that is going to help us to do this. So we'll go to the Visual Basic part, right click on the project, create, go to insert module. So we'll insert one more module. So over here we'll write the name sub and we'll write sorting as the name of the function, and over here we have to mention the range. Mention the range means what we are starting from cell A1 and we are ending it in cell C5. So we have to mention that range. After that mentioning, we have to type dot sort. We are calling the sort function that is going to sort. Next we have to give after sort which is the key one. That means key one means the column, which column do we want to sort, by which column we want to sort. So over here in key one we have to write colon equal to, we have to start with the range, that is we'll again type range, and again we will give the cell reference as A1 because we are starting to sort from A1. We have to remember we will start from A1. Next, what order do I want? That is, I have to type in order because without proper order I don't know, you cannot easily write it. So we want to order it, we want to create one order, and we will be ordering it in descending. As you can see, it is automatically appearing in front of me, it is giving me descending. And again I have to give one more thing, that is whether or not it is a header, A1, whether A1 is a header, because we don't want to sort the header. So we have to mention whether or not the data is having header. So we'll type header over here, and we'll type colon equal to, and instantly it will take this. So we will take yes from over here, we'll take yes, and then just leave it as it is. So with this we'll be able to sort the data properly in the Excel sheet. So let us create a button in our Excel sheet. Over here we'll go to insert button, and I'll select sorting, and if I click on sorting, you will see our data is automatically sorted. Okay, I'll show it to you again. If I click on button, so sorry, it is not showing it. I'll again 101, 102, 103, 104. So if I click on this button, as you can see, our data is being sorted according to the roll number. So this is how this sorting works. So I will explain this code once more, that what is this actually means. So first of all, we are writing range. Range actually means the total data. Total data what we have written, that is the defines the range. Then we have to write sort. Sort is a method that is used to perform sorting, ascending order or descending order sorting. Next we have to mention the key. Actually what is key? Key means that is the column according to which we want to sort. At this point, as you can see, in key I wrote range A1. That means by column A1 I want to sort. If I wanted to sort by column B1, I had to write B1. I will show it to you over here. If I wanted to sort according to name, I have to write B1 over here because name is there in the B1 column. Now what we have to do, I want to sort by ascending or descending, anyone. So if I write order 1 colon equal to automatically it is giving a descending or ascending. We just need to select this value whether or not we want to order it in a descending order or in a particular ascending order. It is up to us how we want to sort. Okay. Next we have header. Header means whether or not our data or the particular B1, this B1 cell is the header or column name or not. If I give yes, it means that cell B1 will be excluded from sorting. Cell B1 will be excluded from sorting and it will not be sorted, and the headers, that is the first row in the data, will be considered as the column names. Whatever names are assigned, roll number, name, class, these are all headers. So with header equal to yes, if I give it, that means this data has headers. So I will just check it out as I save this and go back over here, and if I click on button, the data will be sorted according to this particular second column. So as soon as I clicked, the data was sorted according to the second column. So this is how programming is done in Excel. This is a little bit tough topic for you, I can understand, but just go through the video multiple times and you will be able to easily go through this. In your book, just study the multiple choice questions for your exam purposes, and we'll discuss this. If anything there is more to discuss, if you have any doubt, we'll discuss more things in the class. Thank you.